You know, there really is nothing I love more than waking up in the morning and just watching the world burn around me. Like, it's still to be determined if America's just gonna like completely collapse in on itself, but we can all just feel our country's biological clock ticking down. Very slowly, but still happening. I don't think I need to explain the current political landscape of America, the most pathetic 1v1 of the last 300 years. We've got the world's worst ear-piercing survivor versus the feminine nomenon. We are cooked, like actually cooked. There is no coming back from this. Our great nation's been in the oven at 425 degrees for about 30 minutes now, and I don't see us coming back from that, like I already said, but we're cooked. I like to consider myself to be a pretty patriotic person. You know, despite our many shortcomings, the US of A is still a better place than all the Euro rot charging you to take a piss in a public bathroom. We may be run by a dead corpse with crippling Alzheimer's, but we've got Raytheon backing us up, so if anyone ever has the stupid thought of questioning our superiority of being God's real chosen people, it still wouldn't end well. No matter who's running the best place on earth, the only thing that could possibly ever break America is America. Unfortunately, we've just so happened to be at the closest point we've ever been in history to having that happen. Like, yeah, the Civil War happened, but what's going on right now is honestly so much worse than one state hitting another over whether or not it's morally okay to own another person. This is just straight up hatred for each other, deep hatred of our neighbors in the most gun-dense place in the world, all over very slight differences in opinion, and mostly on stuff that literally none of us can control. Like, actually, what are you as an individual going to do to impact the country's stance on, I don't know, guns or abortion? But the dude that lives next door to you, the same socioeconomic position as you happen to be, who thinks the opposite thing as you, yeah, he's got the real power to make all the difference in the country into a place that you'd be killed for existing in. You don't really need stats at this point to show how in over our heads we are. 2 minutes on Fox or CNN will give you everything you need to see. Yet, not exactly the most comfortable time to be an American. I mean, elections are never comfortable, but they've never been this outright scary. So today we're going to talk about some things you can do to help not only alleviate your worries, but put you in a good position to be okay if the demon straight from hell that doesn't align with your political opinions happens to be the one set to lead the country for the next 4 years. Number one, for the love of God, get a life. Dude, people that base their lives around like politics are just genuinely the fucking worst. Like, even if it's someone standing up for a good cause, you flooding people's Instagram feeds with your basic ass opinions does virtually nothing for anyone besides getting people's minds on the absolute dread going on in the world. And isn't there enough of that? Like, take a step back. Do something that like makes you enjoy your life. We live in the most privileged nation in the world, and the best thing you can think of doing to use that privilege for good is to repeat the same mainstream slop everyone is already aware of. Yeah, that's really putting the bad guys in their place right there. Remember the whole black square thing back from 2020? That stupid worthless form of political activism never actually died. It just evolved into reposting shit from bigger accounts trying to convince you of something that you won't end up believing until you're ready to reach your own conclusions on something anyway. So do the world a favor and do literally anything else. Number two, keep in touch with your community. It's such an important thing. Like, your friends and your family, barring they haven't like gotten partisan brain rot, those are the people that actually change your life. Be a good friend and engage with what's going on in their lives. Odds are you're not the only one struggling with the rot that consumes all. And at the end of the day, our community is all we've really got. Money can disappear just like that. Things can be broken. People don't evaporate that easily though. And despite any stupid opinions held by your friends and family, they're the ones that know you, and you know them. Neither of you know the political puppets that you worship, so keep your eyes focused on what's in front of you. Number three, dude, nothing ever actually happens. Like, actually, like, I know that it's not just me quoting some dumb thing on the internet. Our country only exists as long as nothing ever happens. I mean, things would like seriously have to go wrong for it to get to the point where something actually happens. Dude, the former president was almost killed a few weeks ago, and what changed? Like, maybe it added a few more conversations between you and your friends, but like, how did it change the way you're living? I mean, it's possible for something to finally happen, but even if something did happen, it'd go back to normal eventually. You know that feeling you get when you remember that COVID was almost 5 years ago now? Almost half a decade ago. And all we have to show from it as a society are some like old mask mandate signs and an extra booster shot in the fall that most people probably won't get anyway. I mean, I don't even remember the last time I had my COVID vaccine booster, but I know like no one gets it anymore. Did you remember that Biden had COVID like, I don't know, a month ago? It's just in 1 year out another, and here we are still living our lives. A lot of the problems we have today that seem like they just can't ever be solved just need to be looked at in a bigger picture, because eventually we will get through them, just like we have with literally every other problem in our country before us. It's all good. care a little, but don't stress too hard. Number 4, go to the gym. I'll keep this short. I just needed to get the plug in real quick that the gym can solve like literally 90% of the world's mental health problems. If you're worried about the country actually falling apart, then the last thing you'd want to happen is to be an out of shape slob if the country just decides to piss itself. Pro tip, don't forget to work shoulders. I did that, probably one of the most underrated muscle groups, and it's kicking my ass because I forgot for so long. Number 5, and the last one for today, be happy. You know, we are awfully lucky that our worst political fears are alt-left and alt-right insurrections. Niche little fringes of stupid, obsessed people with nothing going on in their lives besides politics. Are their ideas dangerous and growing? Yes. Can you stop it? Probably not. You know what can stop that though? The United States military. One called the National Guard, and those guys are running away pissing their pants in a cloud of tear gas before an actual single shot is even fired. If you are genuinely worried about your safety come election time, this is America. Regardless of how you feel about the Second Amendment, get something to protect yourself and your loved ones. We have ample ways of keeping yourself safe over here. Us Americans truly are blessed to live in such a great nation. Our problems really aren't even as close to being as bad as they could be. We could be a third world country right now. We could be like going through our, I don't know, 5th coup of the decade, but we're not. And that's something to be really happy about. Regardless of where you stand politically, this place is the best. And there's so many reasons to appreciate and be happy to be where we are. Could it use work? Absolutely. But hey, you know what? At least we're not Europe.